Welcome to Habitly Courses, a production of Manage to Win. Each course is divided into multiple lessons for easy viewing. All are now completely free, so you can watch them on your own or work through them as a team. Please subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and share your favorite lessons with others. Try to find something that helps you be your best. Welcome to lesson 1 of assessing talent. We're going to talk about generations before we dive into behaviors, motivators, and soft skills or competencies. The reason I want to talk about this is because our life experiences affect the way we process information. And different generations have different life experiences. My conclusion, quite frankly, is that we have possibly the highest number of dysfunctional families and parents who really don't parent that well than we've ever had today. Because there's been so many things happening in the life experiences of families. And then rather than learn how to be better parents, learn how to be healthier families, we're continuing to build on that trauma that goes from generation to generation. I'm not going to go deeper on it. But my point is that each generation has their own life experience. Everyone has a unique family experience and experience with friends and community. Notice when you look at the right side that millennials are also called Gen Y, the silent generation, also called traditionalists. I'm going to dive in at the boomers. I'm a boomer and born in 1957. And I remember being on the school ground in second grade and hearing that President Kennedy had been shot. I remember seeing the black and white news footage that Dr. Martin Luther King had been killed in a hotel. There's a lot of things that affected me, but there was also a very strong family ethic, work ethic, and there were many strong things that held our country together then. Now you move on to Gen X. That's where you had Watergate that threw things apart. You had the Iran hostage crisis. You had a lot of things go on, the fall of the Berlin Wall. I mean, that was huge. It was also the first generation that ran into the sexual revolution, which then created a lot of divorces. Before there was a commitment to stay married, try to work things through, or at least stay married, which wasn't always healthy. But then you started having divorce. What happens when you have divorce? You have kids going through trauma of two families, two homes, sometimes one, the father or the mother just departed. Then there became more trauma going on in people's lives. Then you go on to Gen Y, 9/11. There's never been anything like 9/11. Okay, Columbine, where school children were shot just for no reason. There were things that happened that affect our nation and throughout the world. Different things went on. And there became more and more frustration with injustice. And there became more of questioning what's going on, but not necessarily going back to traditional values and morals that have some positives. Then you go on to Gen Z. Gen Z is now truth is relative. And I don't have to back anything up by facts. If I just feel a certain way, it's right. And that's where we really go into the danger zone as a nation and any nation and as a world. My point is this is my graphic here, and it's evolving probably the more time goes on. But what I'm saying is that where we get our thoughts processed, how we process information, whether we immediately believe a soundbite is true or whether we know, hey, well, what are the facts beyond that? We think about it. They come back to our life experience with our parents, our family, community, and school, where we're educated. It may not just be a school, it may be a dojo, it may be a boxing gym, it may be somewhere else. Then what happens is we have positive and negative experiences to date. Based on those two things, and that may lead me to or away from spiritual beliefs, then it goes to the third level, what I believe and how I interpret truth. And that may not be reality. Remember, you believe a soundbite, it may be totally false. The best lies are based on a small amount of truth. Remember that. Then it comes down to, I have these beliefs. The next level, the fourth level, the values are, how much courage do I have to demonstrate what I believe through my actions? And then we go to decisions. This is my attitude and conclusions based on my values. Then it comes to actions. This can be words. This can be actual physical actions. It may be instinctive. I just do it. It's a habit. Or it may be intentional, where I'm doing something right or wrong because I want to achieve a result. That result may be, I just want to take care of myself. I don't care about anybody else. Or it may be, I want to do this because it's the best for the common good. And then what happens is we get triggered to repeat cycles in a certain way because there's change. Significant life change can make us revisit trauma and realize, oh, wow, because I went through this when I was younger, that's why I do what I do today. That's how I process information today. That may be great. It may also be an unhealthy way to do that. That's why I love the generations thing. You really need to give this some thought. We're not going to spend any more time on it. You might want to talk about it as a group, talk about it with others. But it's fascinating stuff when you really peel it back. We all have some trauma. We all come from dysfunctional families, but in different levels. Some of us are pretty healthy, if not very healthy. Others, it's like, whoa, we need to slow down and really look at how we're processing information, processing events, how we're judging others rather than working on ourselves. Big stuff. Hope you enjoyed this one. This is the end of lesson 1. There'll be a short little exam just for some fun, but then move on to lesson 2. Thank you.